Greetings, honorable admiration to the family, the Aboriginal family, tribe up, feathers up, keep them up, don't let them fall to the ground at all. Today, you're going to get a subject, in fact, an objective topic from me that I love and I hold dear to my heart. Hopefully, you can hear me loud and clear. This is something that most might not be familiar with, and those that are, you might be excited because you've been waiting for this. And it is time that we deal with this subject. Okay. The Pigpen cipher and the very, very interesting connection that it has to the translation, transliteration, and decipherment of hieroglyphs. We'll just deal with the hieroglyphs, but it goes a whole lot further than just hieroglyphs. Now, everyone, you might be familiar with the most recent live stream I did with responding to Mr. I forgot his name. Javier El Balas. AKA Haven Bullets. So Burrito Cojones obviously has not stepped up to the challenge, could not provide a proper rebuttal on a scholastic view. So we'll wait for him to do that. But today, we're going to deal with a subject that is still all around the community. And it is heavily connected to, has the hieroglyphs been deciphered? But I took it a step further. See, most people just attack the hieroglyphs being deciphered and they slander Meta Netter and they don't want to hear it and they just approach it from a perspective of ignoring it. I did the exact opposite. I went and researched every single increment, inch by inch, that I can find that is connected to how they deciphered, transliterated, and translated the hieroglyphs. I did it a long time ago, actually. Well, in a sense of time, in the way things move today, I can consider it long ago, but really it's 2013 when I took on the journey of finding out what's really going on with these hieroglyphs. And it was thanks to my co-host from Cameroon, Omoshongo, that I could pursue it, being that his brother lived in Egypt at the time and still lives in Egypt, and 50 plus members of what was formerly known as Black Lotus Civilization, now known as Lotus Television and Lotus Civilization. We have over 50 members from Egypt and Sudan that have shared a great deal of information. But when I shared this information, their jaws dropped. They were shocked and amazed to know that somebody in America knows about this and knows that it has been an absolute farce the whole time. But I took the time to study it, and myself was excited to find the information that I found. So I went further and deeper into it. And I used to play little games, and I wasn't being disingenuous. It was just that I felt that I sat on information that others did not have while being disingenuous towards me. So I held this information in for a very long time. And in fact, next month, I will be presenting a full slideshow to show the importance of this. So far on my channel, I have presented Krata and this subject here, Pigpen cipher. I have saved I have saved cryptography for next month. But today I am going to reveal some very important cryptography and cryptoanalytic information. So today the topic is Pigpen cipher. Now, if you can take the time to look it up, or if it's presented on the screen, and it's on Wikipedia, or you can buy a Freemasons book, Masonic book, and you will find Pigpen cipher. This is important for this particular topic that we are going to discuss today. Now, I won't be able to take time to look in the chat because I will definitely be heavily focused on this and making sure everything is right and exact. So honorable admiration to everyone in the chat. After I finish, if anyone wants to come on and talk about this, so far I have received many challenges on Pigpen cipher by people. And when I asked them the question, did you know about Pigpen cipher before you heard me mention it? And they say no. If you did not hear about the Pigpen cipher before I mentioned it and you are challenging me, I will not accept your challenge because you are not qualified to challenge me on this. Those who are qualified to challenge me on this are those who are actual Freemasons, Masons, and so forth. Now, let me remember how this is said. We got the Aboriginal movement. We have the app, I believe, Tribe Up. And please look into it, download this, become a part of it for our people here in America. As always, I'm here for mine, manufacture, and mass produce everything we use, maintenance, repair, operations, and maintenance, repair, overhaul. So we know how to fix everything that we build. This is going into 3D printing so we can print from the foundation up. Land mass, foundation on the land mass, to the buildings, and for innovative architectural work, because we need to make it better than everyone else. These are things I strive for. These are things that I devote my all to for the future. And the plan is to secure 70 generations down the line. Let's not just focus on right now, tomorrow. Let's focus on our future generations. Okay, so I want to share something with everyone about Pigpen cipher that is heavily connected to Pigpen cipher. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the information beforehand instead of going to the information as I reveal this information on Pigpen cipher. You can find Pigpen cipher on Wikipedia. It's all over the place. And you will find a lot of things connected to such movies that Tom Hanks played in as the Da Vinci Code, where he uses this tool to decipher it. And if your decipherment is wrong, it will destroy the actual instrument that you're using to decipher. Now, what I did was I revealed the information by Raymond Palmer on Ormuz, the 18th century Rosicrucians, the Egyptian priest dating back to St. Mark's time in 96 CE. He reformed Egyptian magic to fit the teachings of Christian religion. Society of Ormuz, known as Ormesius, Order of the Golden and Rosy Cross, origin stories. That's right. The Rosicrucian also is connected to the Priory of Sion and the alchemy rejected knowledge. But it doesn't stop there. No, it doesn't. There's more. Kabbalah, the 12th century Rabbi Isaac the Blind. Please research these names as I mention this to you and look these things up. We have the Ma'aseh Berashit, which is the work of creation. The Ma'aseh Berashit goes into a variation of things. And then here goes the things that it's variations of. You have the Ma'aseh Merkabah, the work of Chariot, the Ma'aseh Berashit, the literature of it, the Sefer Yetzirah, the book of formation, the Sefer HaBahir, book of radiance, the Sefer HaZohar, book of splendor. And you can also look into this and get further details by studying the 1486 Italian Hermetic philosopher Giovanni Pico della Mirandola. Also, Johannes Reuchlin on De Verbo Mirifico, on the wonders of working words. And let me share some insight. Many people in the Kemetic community that have dealt with me on these things, this is the information that I have been holding back. Because I knew how disingenuous the Kemetic community is, I decided that maybe I should hold back certain information because I don't want to cast pearls to swine, to just watch them lick on it and maybe swallow some of them and poop it out. For what? I receive no grandeur in that. And I really don't get excited from proving people wrong or humiliating them or making them feel less than how they feel about themselves because they did not have this information on Pigpen cipher. But today is that day that you get it, because I have received so many challenges from members of our beloved group, MBK, on this subject, where I never received a proper premise on their position. So what I'm going to do is crush any possibility of any possible position that one can take. So where does that position come from where they take? Well, we have to take a step back to Krater before we get to Pigpen cipher. And when we deal with Krater, we're getting into the Corpus Hermeticum, Hieroglyphica of Horopalo, Pseudo-Egyptian rites and masonry invented during the years included the Krater 1770 AD, Cagliostro's Egyptian rites, 1778, rites of Misharim, in 1805, the rites of Menfit, and connected to the 1804 period, which is from the 5th year of the 19th century to the 14th year of the 19th century AD. It even has Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's magical flute connected, and that will be connected in the year of 1791. Keep in mind, the Rosetta Stone was not found yet. Now, there is much more to share on that, and that will be for a later day, because today we're going to deal with the Pigpen cipher. Many might be wondering, what is this Pigpen cipher? Well, alternately referred to as the Masonic cipher, Freemason cipher, none other than the one who went to war with Egypt, Napoleon cipher, and of course, tic-tac-toe cipher. And it is a geometric simple substitution cipher, which exchanges letters for symbols. Again, is a geometric simple substitution cipher, which exchanges letters for symbols. The Pigpen cipher uses specific symbols that they exchange for letters. What many do not know is this Pigpen cipher is used in many variants, as in the symbols that they use to connect to the alphabet, they can replace those symbols with anything they want and create an alphabet and create a language. Now, how is that possible for me to say that? Well, on the Wikipedia site, you can go to security, and it says the use of symbols instead of letters. Again, the use of symbols instead of letters is no impediment to crypto-analysts. And this system is identical to that of other simple monoalphabetic substitution schemes. Again, monoalphabetic substitution schemes. Due to the simplicity of the cipher, it is often included in children's books on ciphers and secret writings. Keep in mind these words that are really, really important. Ciphers, secret writings, monoalphabetic substitutions, and cryptanalysis. So many might not know what cryptanalysis is, and it's actually the symbol that you're looking up. It's a close-up of the rotaries in the Fialka cipher machine. And cryptanalyst is actually a Greek word. Just like the word pan is Greek, the word cryptanalyst comes from kryptos, means hidden, and analyein, to loosen or to untie. So you're untying the hidden meaning. And it's the study of analyzing information systems in order to study the hidden aspects of systems. Cryptanalysis is used to breach cryptographic security systems and gain access to the contents of encrypted messages, even if the cryptographic key is unknown. Excuse me. Now, let's take a step back. Monoalphabetic systems, which is actually the substitution cipher. In cryptography, a substitution cipher is a method of encrypting by which units of a plain text are replaced with ciphertext according to a fixed system. The units may be simple letters, the most common, pairs of letters, triplets of letters, mixtures of the above, and so forth. The receiver deciphers the text by performing the inverse substitution. Now, you can take time to look up Pigpen cipher, cryptanalysis, and monoalphabetic substitution so you can move along with me as we take this step into the history of the Pigpen cipher. But I must share this first. Here goes the important part. The important part is this. J.J. Bartholomew was the person who said that inside of the cartouche are the names of certain people. Cleopatra, Alexander the Great, variation of other people. It was a person that came after him by the name of Zoega who said that the hieroglyphs are letters. How would he know that? What system did they use to say that a hieroglyph, symbols, are letters? There is no other encryption key in existence at that time. Again, as I just mentioned about Ormus, Kabbalah, and Corpus Hermeticum. No system existed at that time. So the importance of this Pigpen cipher message today, this objective message, by the way, is that these are the keys to decipherment that people who disagree with the hieroglyphs being deciphered never told you, because when I shared the information with people such as Seti and young Pharaoh, they never mentioned it. When such people as our elder, Baba Walter Williams, would not tell you about these things, because then what would you need to talk to him for? What would you need to buy his book for? When he gives out all the keys to the information to show and prove that the hieroglyphs have never been deciphered. But this is my intriguement, that I didn't look at this as, oh, the Pigpen cipher, and that's what they use and stuff. Forget that. I was intrigued. I wanted to dig into it. I wanted the empirical data. I wanted the empirical data to the empirical data. I wanted to know who, where, why, when, and what. Why would they do this? Why would they change symbols' meanings to be letters and then use it as some type of way to communicate with each other? You know what's very funny about that? If you go watch the video of Dr. Ben saying that when people speak metanetta, they're just going chiggada, 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 he makes a very, very important statement. And then he makes a statement that is absolutely false. His absolutely false statement was that we can read it. His correct statement is that Europeans created this to communicate with each other. They didn't make this for people in America to run around with Hey Ruth shirts and wooden ankhs and all that type of stuff to go Hotep, Tepin Raw and have the whole Hotep startup kit or any of that nonsense. And as you can see, what I started out with was Ormus, for some reason, is tied into Christianity. Very interesting information for the family. But let's dig into this. Brother Ty Data, if you can show, in fact, let me go see on YouTube. Let me step away and see this. So for the family, I want you to know that this Pigpen cipher is also applied to the very alphabet we use today, our English alphabet, because when we learned our A, B's, and C's, they never told us what the letter A meant. They never told us that it's an uppercase and a lowercase and where these symbols originate from. They didn't tell us that. We had to go find it in a book, and it's telling us that it's connected to this, connected to that, connected to that, connected to an ox. And it's really not. It's definitely not. We have been taught so many lies that we can't even look at the simple lies. But let me check this out. Hold on. Give me one moment. Yes. On the screen, I would like the Pigpen cipher. If you could pull up the history part on the Pigpen cipher, where the family. All right, perfect. There it is, right there. I hope everyone can see it. If not, in the chat, if you can see it, put 1 in the chat. Okay, so honorable admiration to Joe 47, Ghost, I don't know if it's ancient one or the ancient one, Noondales, Shayla Wu. We got Rainstorm in the building, Ghost, as I mentioned Ghost already. Oh, man, I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to be here. Got Mark Falk, my brother Mark Falk in the building. That's right. Seeker of Truth, man, I'm honored to have everyone here. That's why I always say honorable admiration to the chat and the panel whenever I'm around, because this is a way to show my appreciation for, the family to come and take their time to listen to this. Yeah, that's right. This is absolutely the real death of Metanetta. It's time we put an end to it so we can start over, because I'm not just going to leave everyone in the dark at the end. I'm going to go over the people that live in Egypt, the languages that are spoken in Egypt, the people who will tell you that they use the language they speak to describe what they see, just like anyone else would. So, we'll go over that as well. We have a Living Soul Journey, Tribe B. All right. So, man. Okay, now let's dig into the history. This is very important because everyone that approached me about Pigpen cipher in such a disgust and such a sour taste in their mouth, they had no rebuttal, and I'm not going to help them out with making a rebuttal, and they had no premise to stand on. They just know that this is a way to shoot down Metanetta for good. This is, and it might not look like it, but it absolutely is. It is. This is the way you deal with them scholastically, linguistically, pictorial imagely. Is where you dig into their history of it, dealing with Cornelius Agrippa. Now, Cornelius Agrippa described an earlier form of the Rosicrucian cipher. So let me provide a little subjective information. You will not find more people involved in this Kemetic community than the Rosicrucians. If you show me all the numbers of our brothers and sisters that's into the Kemetic stuff, that have their priest stuff like Jabari and all the little temples and the stuff they do, they will be ridiculously outnumbered by Rosicrucians. They will be ridiculously financially outnumbered. And they are not strict as the Rosicrucians. They are not spiritually in tune like the Rosicrucians. I mean, I could go on and on all day, and you can look up the Rosicrucian stuff yourself. But I want everyone to see this, that Pigpen cipher is connected to Rosicrucian cipher, which he attributes to the existence of which is the existing Kabbalistic tradition in his 3 books of occultic philosophy, first published in 1531. That is over 200 years before the Rosetta Stone. So this system called the Kabbalah of the 9 chambers, And we can also look into the Kemetic stuff. You have the number 9 there. We can look into the Tim Lagalit. We have the 9 fraternal sorority orders in America, the heliocentric and all that type of stuff. Then we have by later authors who used Hebrew alphabet rather than the Latin alphabet. My co-host Omoshongo from Cameroon, not America. He went on the Passover. It was a Passover that was after the Kemet on trial, and he exposed that Jews put together the meta-netter. And we went over the information about that as well. So, and was used for creating sigils of spirits rather than for any apparent cryptological purpose. So when you hear people talking about the spiritual stuff connected to this meta-netter language, well, you look no further than the word sigils, Rosicrucians, and the Kabbalah. That's right. So variations of the cipher were used by both the Rosicrucian Brotherhood and the Freemasons. Though the latter used the Pigpen cipher so often that the system is frequently called the Freemason cipher, they began using it in the early 18th century, again, before the Rosetta Stone, to keep their records of history and rites private, and for correspondence between lodge leaders. Tombstone or Freemasons can also be found, which use the system as a part of the engravings. One of the earliest stones in Trinity Church Cemetery in New York City, which opened in 1697, that means anybody in New York has no excuse for not having this information and not exposing the decipherment, translation, and transliteration of what's called the meta-netter. So it contains a cipher of this type which deciphers to remember death, which the word is memento mori. And George Washington's army had documentation about the system. That's how far back it goes. With a much more randomized form of the alphabet, and during the American Civil War, the system was used by Union prisoners and Confederate prisons. In Confederate prisons. So I would always ask people, how did the hieroglyphs receive their letters? There you go. The history of Pigpen cipher will give you a key to how they received their letters. But I can't just leave you there. We have to look up who this Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa is. Brother Ty Data. Also, everyone, bear with me. The laptop will be back. I will be fully operational again. But Ty Data, if you can click on Cornelius Agrippa, Cornelius Agrippa is the first name lit up in blue below history. Yes. Let me check out the chat. Perfect. Now, whenever I tell people, man, meta-netter is Yiddish, man, y'all speaking that German language, y'all following the Germans and stuff like that. You want to know why I said that? Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa, Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa von Nettesheim. You see that Nette is almost there. It's almost like Charles Netter, but Nettesheim, but it's actually Sheim. And this person, who cares when he was born and died, was a German polymath physician, legal scholar, by the way, soldier, theologian, and occult writer. So, okay, we won't deal with the life of, but let's see what his works are. Agrippa, and perhaps best known for his books, An Incomplete List. Most of this is not in English, so we'll read the parts that are in English. You have the declamation attacking the uncertainty and vanity of the sciences and the arts, 1526. Printed in Cologne, 1527. A skeptical satire of the sad state of science. This book, a significant production of the revival of Pyrrhonic skepticism in its fetious mode, was to have a significant impact on such thinkers and writers as Montaigne, Descartes, and Goethe. Now, you also have some very odd stuff, such as the Declamation of the Nobility and Preeminence of the Female Sex in 1529. What was he getting at there? A book pronouncing the theological and moral superiority of women. Now y'all know why the Kemetic community pushes that black women was God and the Ma'at nonsense, because they're getting it from Germans. That's right, you heard it here first on Chief Holiday's channel. You know, let's really put it out there. And that edition was written in the English translation in London, 1670, before anybody yelling the black woman was God was born. All right, so let's see this other one. You got the Summa of Occult and Magical Thought, Agrippa's most important work in a number of respects, sought a solution to the skepticism proposed in De Vanitate. In short, Agrippa argued for a synthetic vision of magic, whereby the natural world combined with the celestial and the divine through Neoplatonic participation, such that ordinarily licit natural magic was in fact validated by a kind of demonic magic sourced ultimately from God. Really? By this means, Agrippa proposed a magic that could resolve all epistemological problems raised by skepticism in a total validation of Christian faith. Wow. For everyone, please look this person's name up. You know, if you want to take the time to know these things and the things that are connected to how the comings of Metanetter came into play in this Kemetic community, in the priesthood, and the way that they say their words and who really put it together, here goes more. You know, it does not end there. So he wrote the book, 3 Books of Occult Philosophy. Now, look his books up, and most might not be familiar with the Kabbalah or Kabbalistic, which is actually called the Mekubal. You know, I don't need the family because most people are already, you know, in tune to that. Some people have studied it further than others. Some have not. But if you have a religious base or stance, you know that a Kabbalah is always looked at as a negative thing put together by Satan worshipers and devil worshipers and so forth. Or others might see it as just a spiritually enlightened book that one can, you know, obtain some spiritual type of whatever in that sense. Another one I need you to click on is his book, The 3 Books of Occult Philosophy, De Occulta Philosophia Libre III. It's 3rd edition. Well, actually, it's 3 books that he put in one. And okay. Yeah, you have to take a step back. If you could go back to Pigpen cipher. Okay, and click on 3 occult. Okay, the 3 Books of Occult Philosophy. Just want to share a little something. Oh, it's under history. It's right under his name too, Cornelius Agrippa. It's further. Go back up. Yes, there it is. Oh, perfect. Okay. Now, here you're going to see the connections of connected to, you know, ritual magic, Four elements, astrology, Kabbalah, numbers, angels, gods, names. So if you look into that and just take it into a sense of this, you get an E.A. Wallace Budge Book of the Dead. You're going to find four elements. You're going to find astrology. You're going to find stuff connected to the Kabbalah. You're going to find stuff connected to numbers. You're going to find stuff connected to angels, such as netters, and even which are actually the lesser netters, the lesser gods. And then you're going to find the gods' names, which would be considered the netter root and the netteret, or whichever way you want to call it. Scrying, alchemy, ceremonies, and origins from what are from the Hebrew, Greek, and Chaldean context. Again, as my co-host Omoshonko expressed, during the Passover 2015, after the Kimedon trial, which we were heavily involved in, that they are using Hebrew, Greek, and Chaldean. They're not using Zulu, Dogon, Wolof, Igbo, Yoruba. They're not using Geese. They're not using Dinka, Nuer, Luo. They're not using any popular tribe in Africa stuff. No, they're not using any other languages. No, they're using Hebrew, Greek, and Chaldean. You didn't have people until the end of the 19th century that tried to connect all this stuff to African languages. And you have pseudo-scientific language comparison and pseudo-linguists that come into play. And I'm gonna call one of their names out. I don't want to start calling them all out. Well, you know what? I'll call three. You have Theophilo Banga. He's a pseudo-linguist, a pseudo-scientific language comparison. You have Cheikh Anta Diop, who is also a pseudo-linguist and a pseudo-scientific language comparison. And you have Jean-Claude Mboli. All three are pseudo-linguists and pseudo-scientific language comparison. If you don't believe me, travel to the top universities of the world and ask them who are the African pseudo-linguists and pseudo-scientific language comparison. You'll find their names at the top of the list. Guarantee that. Excuse me. I'm getting dehydrated, man. I got too much fire on this Pigpen cipher for today. Just bear with me. Bust some Fiji water. Okay. This is the thing. In this book, you might not be able to see everything, so I'm gonna go over this again, and you'll be hearing some of the stuff I just mentioned. 3 books of occult philosophy is Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa's study of occult philosophy, acknowledged as a significant contribution to the Renaissance philosophical discussion concerning the powers of ritual magic and its relationship with religion. The first book was printed in 1531 in Paris, Cologne, and Antwerp, while the full 3 volumes first appeared in Cologne in 1533. Interesting numbers. The 3 books deal with the elemental, celestial, and intellectual magic. What is intellectual magic, you might want to know? I'll leave that for you to find out. But it goes into the books I just mentioned, outline the 4 elements, astrology, Kabbalah, numbers, angels, gods, names, the virtues and relationships with each other. As everybody say, you follow the laws of Ma'at and you're all one. Really, they're following this. As well as methods of utilizing these relationships and laws in medicine, scrying, alchemy, ceremonies, and once again, origins of what are from the Hebrew, Greek, and Chaldean context. These arguments were common amongst other Hermetic philosophers. Again, you want the key to this Kemetic stuff? Look up the Hermetic philosophers. Look up Corpus Hermeticum. At the time and before, in fact, Agrippa's interpretation of magic is similar to the authors Marsilio Ficino, the name I mentioned earlier, Pico della Mirandola, and Johann Reuchling's synthesis of magic and religion, and emphasize an exploration of nature. Unlike many grimoires of the time, excuse me if I pronounce that wrong, these books are more scholarly and intellectual than mysterious and foreboding. Again, more scholarly and intellectual than mysterious and foreboding. These books are often read as authoritative by those interested in the occult, even today. Okay? All right. Now, there's other names connected to that. Is Arturo Regini and Rene Gueno. Now, I want everyone to take a step back and really look at this. Is about the Pigpen cipher. We barely stepped into the cryptoanalyst, and well, let's just say it's about to get very interesting. We barely stepped into the cryptoanalyst and the monoalphabetic systems, which is the monoalphabetic substitution. This is dealing with how you take a pictorial image or a symbol and turn it to a letter. How did we get our alphabet we use today? We have uppercase, lowercase. We have cursive. Oh boy, you're using cursive. You're spelling curses. You're spelling words in cursive. Very interesting that this is coming from the Pigpen cipher. Now, I wanted to know that anyone who had a premise or anyone in the chat, in fact, I even step away and go over a little dialogue about this, that has anyone gone over this information and really dug into this to see that what if all of those ancient scripts, and I'm saying what if now, all of them, and I'm saying all of them from Japan, Korea, China, all of these so-called symbols that have been used to represent a letter, what if they're all following the Pigpen cipher? Now that's a big what if for the family. Just what if this is what we get our, or where we get our alphabet we use today that has been, well, I'm using it now because I had to read the words that I speak. That means I had to learn the alphabet. I had to learn how letters become words in order to communicate. Yet we communicate right now. I'm communicating with you in the language right now. But it does not tell you where these letters originate from. You can find almost all of the alphabet letters on ancient symbols. Is there any way to find out if those letters that we use today are what those ancient symbols are? Did our ancient ancestors really make those symbols represent one letter? There's a whole lot of information on this that are no clear answers being given by any of the Kemetic community. So this Pigpen cipher is heavily a challenge, and no one wants to step up to the Pan-Africanus. I'm not going to go into the Afrocentrics because when I take my hair out the bun, the man bun, I have an afro too, and I'm not too fond of centricism. So no one will step up to that. Will somebody man up and step up to this? Okay, the Pigpen cipher, the answer to the false translations of the hieroglyphs. I need someone to stand up, and somebody that's scholarly, not Javier El Balas. He's not cutting it. Can somebody step up and deal with this and really get down to the bottom of this information? So at the end, not too long because we got busy lives, that if anybody wants to hop on the chat and have a dialogue about this, proper dialogue, man. If you don't know about Pigpen cipher and you have no knowledge of these things and you want to come in and talk about it, hey, it's all love. I'm not the type of person I feel like I'm an authority figure or you can't step up and talk to me about these things. But if someone is challenging, that's another story. And I was hoping, I'm going to have to say the brother's name, I was hoping the brother would have stepped up and, stepped up to the challenge. So far, No. So I'm going to start to crush it now. You know, because enough is enough with this stuff, man. Enough is enough. Okay, let me see if the family is back yet. Ty Daddy, you back with us, man? All right. Let me see if you're still on Pigpen cipher. Okay. Okay. Can you take a step back to the Pigpen cipher? And I'm gonna go to excuse me. All right, if you can show the parts where it's the example and the variance, and we'll be going over this before we close out, you know. And you know, someone wants to come in and dialogue about it, man, it's all love. Someone wants to come in and challenge, that's what I'm really looking for right now. I need someone to challenge this. And by the way, I didn't make this up. I didn't create this website, so this is not my information. This is information for everyone to go research. So if you're interested in knowing this, if you want to know like where did my own alphabet come from, what are these letters I read and the words I speak, if you want to know the keys to that, you know, you can look up what's the names? Eduardo Bernardino. I put this video out about all the alphabets. He put all the alphabets in one book, and you know, he put in an extraordinary amount of work doing that. Covers a great deal of alphabets, over 20 alphabets. And, you know, we could go into Inkunabula as well, which I'll say for another day, because Inkunabula is a book in itself. You know, so
Fam, I got a couple questions.
Yes.
I got a couple questions if you don't mind, but let me see if I can go ahead and make sure I'm on air. Can everybody hear me? Let me see.
I didn't make this up. I didn't create this website, so this is not my information. This is information for everyone to go research. So if you're interested in knowing, where my own alphabet come from,
yeah. So hold on 1 second.
I'm not calling out tribe root words. Root words, you feisty today, man. Root words spicy today. Root words already know what I'm talking about. You already know this stuff. All right, family, I'm ready. I don't know if they can hear you. In the chat room, if y'all can hear, okay, I got a couple thumbs up. I think they can hear you, brother. All right, family, I'm ready.
Fam, can you hear? Can
in the chat room, y'all can hear. Okay. I hear you. Yeah, I think they hear you. They're saying peace.
No, I don't think they can hear me yet. Hold on 1 second. Let me. Fam, can you hear? Okay, there we go. I got a couple questions, fam. I got a couple questions. I heard you mention Germans, the Dutch. I heard you mention the Dutch. So you saying this metal nature and this whole little culture and all this little occult stuff? Are you saying this stuff leads back to the Dutch?
Yes, absolutely, and in fact, Yiddish.
Wow.
More Yiddish than anything.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, look, when it comes to our brother Jabari Osaze, he's following the Kemetic priesthood. Well, the Kemetic priesthood comes from Cagliostro. It comes from none other than Alessandro Cagliostro, whose real name is Joseph Giuseppe. Giuseppe is actually Joseph Balsamo, and he's the one who created the pseudo-Egyptian rites and masonry, invented during these years included the Krata-Rapoa. He's the one that put Krata-Rapoa together. Rather he's a mulatto, my complexion darker, or just Italian Jew, or whatever. Wow. He traveled to Germany and gathered together a group of Germans, and they all came together and put that system together. When Hitler took over, he didn't quite agree with him, so he ran a lot of them out and killed some.
Wow, so all roads lead to the Dutch, huh? You know,
all leads to the Dutch.
All back to the Dutch, because we just did a video with my guy Antin Carver, and we just did a video about a lot of stuff that leads back to the Dutch. Everybody knows slavery began with the Dutch, or so-called, or whatever it's supposed to be. And I'm not sure if it's real or not, but so all roads lead back to the Dutch. So I hope y'all understand in this situation and the stuff that we bringing to y'all. Now we ain't made one connection yet, but we might have to do a big connection video. But if you go back in some of the previous videos and you get some of the messages out of them, you gotta cipher the messages of what we giving to y'all. You see what I'm saying? So we're not just blowing it out. And so this right here is going back to the Dutch. All the stuff that they teaching in the name of the black lady, in the name of the black woman, all that shit is going back to the Dutch. All that shit about China, and remember I don't know if y'all was in the chat room when we was talking about parts of China when they had a treaty with the Dutch. And so now the Dutch had infiltrated China, and now they're going into Africa, and so it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, y'all. They don't want none of this. Trust me, they don't want none of this. But let's get our shit together at the end of the day. Please, black people, I'm asking you, let's get on the road. I'm begging. Let's get going, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, family. Do what you got to do, man. Damn, this shit's getting deep. It's getting deep.
That's right.
Peace.
That's right. Hey, it's about to get a little deeper, too. Hey, the Dutch, man. You see the person, Cornelius Agrippa, he's a German. And he's a proud German at that. If you go look at his bio, boy, he's a proud German. Man, you'll find out that. And now I have to give credit where credit's due. There are some great innovators coming out of Germany who help create things and innovate things and all this type of stuff and, you know, all that good stuff. Cool. But it was something that was always already invented, and they just found a way to make it better because they're living in such a condition where they have to make things better. They need to more and do things. But well, what happens is these Kemetic brothers and sisters are yelling black power, black woman is God, and all this type of stuff, but they're following Germans. Never quite crossed my mind to be like, hey, y'all following Germans, man. I thought y'all represented Africa. Thought y'all was talking about the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Dogon, the Wolof, but your stuff comes from Germany. And even people who are following the Metanetter, and they write these books and all this type of stuff. If you look up their sources and who they're using, guess where they're from? Germany. And if it's someone from England, it's someone that's half German. Someone whose ancestry comes from Germany, which most of the people that took over England are actually from Germany. And in fact, the English language is none other that we speak right now. It's West Germanic. We're speaking a West Germanic second generation. Now, we can get into the origins of the words. A lot of words are from different places and all that type of stuff. But the ones who put all those words together and all that type of stuff is where it is considered West Germanic. But on the example, let me get back on it. Using the Pigpen cipher key above, the message X marks the spot is rendered in cipher text S. And you see the symbols. Now, many people will try and pull out a pseudo argument to say, oh, that's all Pigpen cipher means. The symbols that you'll see in the example text. No, it's not. You're absolutely wrong if you come with that approach. This is a key. That's the simple key being used. All you have to do is replace their key with hieroglyphs, with Greek symbols, with Hebrew symbols, with Latin symbols, with anything. You can make up your own Pigpen cipher. You could get a brush, a bar of soap, a razor for shaver, gel, and make an alphabet out of that, and use that and communicate with each other. Anyone can do this, really. But okay, the core element of this system is the grid and dots. Some systems use the X's, but even these can be rearranged. Now, this is going to go into the explanation of the tic-tac-toe cipher. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to this paragraph below that. Another system used by the Rosicrucians used a single grid of 9 cells. Here we go, that number 9 again. In 1 to 3 dots in each cell or pin. So ABC, hand and arm, foot and leg, no hieroglyph for the letter C. I wonder why they didn't do that. Would be in the top left pin, followed by DEF and GHI on the first line. The groups of JKL, MNO, PQR on the second, and STU, VWX, Y, and Z, just saying the alphabets for everyone. So on the third, when enciphered, the location of the dot in each symbol, left, center, or right, would indicate which letter in that pin was represented. More difficult systems use a non-standard form of the alphabet. I must say this again because this is for the meta-netter. More difficult systems use a non-standard form of the alphabet. You cannot find the ancient Egyptian alphabet. Ancient Egyptians never made an alphabet. Somebody made one for them. Now, such as writing it backwards in the grid, up and down in the columns, or a completely randomized set of letters. This is where I used to deal with people of the Amun-Ra squad, you know, the ones that are trying to come at us so foul because they can't handle the aboriginal feather slaps to the face. So they have to challenge and do all the stuff with the pseudo-evolution nonsense, which is really pseudo-metamorphosis, which if you go look up Data Room Natura, you can shut down anyone promoting that evolution or out of Africa theory nonsense. Oh, you really want to know how to knock it down? I could present anyone to how to knock down all that stuff. But here we have it. Here we have something that's very interesting. The Templar cipher. Oh, anybody know about the Knights Templars? Well, get a load of this. The Templar cipher is a method claimed to have been used by the Knights Templars. It uses a variant of a Maltese cross. So we go back, we're dealing with the Germans, the Knights Templars, the Rosicrucians, Crateropoa, Pigpen cipher. We have cryptography, all these things connected, somehow pointing right back to the Kemetic community. Right back to this meta-netter stuff. Now, most people know about the Knights Templars, I hope. And you should know that the Knights Templars and what's the other group? Knights Templars. You have the slipped my mind. Okay, you got the Knights Templars. You got the Crusades, and well, slips my mind. But they're the ones that run our FBI and our CIA and all that good stuff. So when they get into the COINTELPRO and who's running it. You ever wonder why, if the Kemetic community, let me say something subjective. If knowing the meta-netter was so good for our people in the Kemetic community, the CIA and FBI would have shut that down as soon as it started. But why would they shut down something they started? Which has been an absolute distraction for our people. Let me get a little subjective with it. It has been an absolute distraction of our people here in America. We need to get it together here in America. Going over to Egypt where it's 110 degrees in the winter and at night, to go spend thousands upon thousands of dollars to go sit and go, ooh, be a looky-loo and a tourist and a visitor, to go blow your money and come back and do absolutely nothing for your community here. You could have taken that money, invested in a 3D printer, taking that money, invested in becoming having a seat on the council or a mayor, taking that money and trying to build an island somewhere and 3D print yourself a city. Instead, you're going to run to a country and use nothing but Pigpen cipher nonsense and Crateropoa nonsense. Like our brother Ty Data said, man, we got to get this together. We got to get it together. So this is information when the brothers are coming, the brothers and sisters are coming at you from the Kemetic community and promoting that nonsense and saying whatever they say and having the disingenuous remarks about our indigenous aboriginal brothers and sisters. And most of us were here. Some of my family were here and they're still here and they want to stay here and they want a real future for our people here. We can just show them like, look, man, what you're promoting does not help us, does not help me. And it comes from Germans. You say the black woman is God, ma'at this, ma'at that, it comes from Germans. Now, I can literally break down the whole meta-netter and what they're saying, and you use languages from the continent, and I guarantee they will all come out to be a negative in some form of fashion. It will be a negative phrase, a negative term. Ma'at means the fear of the mother. Okay? Ma'at. You go to Egypt right now and speak to the Beja people and say Ma'at. Okay. It means fear of the woman. If you go there and say Hotep, they don't say Hotep, they say Hotep. That's different. The reason why they allow that greeting to be said, because it means follow the ways of your grandmother. That's about it. That's the only positive. Everything else is absolutely negative. So it goes back to these magical spells that they set up for people to use so they can put spells on each other. But if you go watch a ceremony that Rosicrucians that are doing, they're not speaking meta-netter. They're not. So on this Pigpen cipher, this is showing you that, yeah, Pigpen cipher has a set of symbols that are used. And it will tell you that it's a Masonic cipher, Freemason cipher, Napoleon cipher, and the tic-tac-toe cipher. But it's also the Knights Templar cipher. Now, okay, perfect. I just remembered. The Jesuits. The Jesuits are also connected to this. The Jesuits are one with the FBI. If you get into the Swiss who run in Switzerland, that's where the CIA operates out of. There we go. That's what I wanted to say earlier. I'm pretty much wanted to wrap it up because I wanted to make this. I wanted to make sure this is direct, so they know that stop playing with us. The Aboriginal movement's here to stay, and we're gonna grow and become much better. We have real solutions, real plans. Either get with the program or stay out our way. But if you're gonna be genuine with having disagreements and things that we disagree upon, you better start approaching everybody and definitely stop being afraid of me. I want to say this too. Can y'all stop being so afraid of me personally? Amon Raw squad members. I would say Dagger Squad, but you know, at least some of them are stepping up. I would say MBK, but at least some of them are stepping up. You know, at least they're growing some cojones, which our brother Javier El Balas, aka Haven Bullets, won't step up. I'm a Raw squad won't step up and defend Pan-Africans. I see now that everyone's coming out stepping up for Garvey, but they forgot that Garvey, Marcus Messiah Garvey, is the one who had the princess from Ghana assassinated, even to the point where most people could not believe what I was showing them.
Allegedly.
Yes, Marcus Garvey.
Allegedly.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you gotta say that. They can't hear me.
Allegedly had the Ghanaian princess assassinated. You know, and that's not a good start. I guess the black woman wasn't God. And
hey, tell everybody Omac Jaguar is on too. Omac Jaguar just came on.
Who the Omac? Oh, check out. Okay. What was that? What was that, family?
Omac Jaguar. Omac just came on.
Okay, our brother Omac Jaguar joined the panel. What's good?
No. He just signed on his channel.
Okay. Everyone, check out Omac Jaguar's channel. I believe he's going live right now.
Yup. Yeah, he's going live. So we finna so let him know we finna fade over there because he got some more work. We finna give him this work.
Okay. Hey, y'all.
Jaguar Omac.
Hop on Jaguar Omac channel, man. About to give that work. You know what? We're going to give him a career. Let's stop playing. We're going to hit him with real solutions, and we're going to give him that real information on what's going on with this Aboriginal movement. I see that Jaguar in there. I'm already turned up. You know, let's get it. All right, family. I'd like to thank everyone who took the time to come and check this out. There's much more, but I left it for everyone to dig into this and get in. And if you thinking like, man, maybe he reaching, I don't know. Trust me. Well, you don't have to trust me. You can actually go look it up for yourself and find out and take apart whatever you agree and don't agree upon and put it together and create your own puzzle and come right back and you'll be shocked on what dialogue we'll be able to have about this. It's very important because we use these symbols and numbers and all these things to this day. So definitely go check out Jaguar Olmec's channel. Brother's going live right now. I don't know if it's a brother or sister, but the channel is going live right now. We're going to go in on these subjects. All right, Brother Ty there. The next show will be this Saturday. I don't have a set time. Will be this Saturday. The subject Saturday is, well, I wanted to leave a open. I want to leave it for like an open panel so we can get in a dialogue about solutions. You know, put together some real solutions, something that we can at least start. Like let's get some starting solutions going. And of course, dealing with the information that's going on. I have to do this from now on. Honorable admiration to all the channels, whether I agree with the content or not. No longer taking this personal. If we can build with whoever we can build with and get these things started out here. So, you know, I have disagreements with the Amin Raw squad, but honorable admiration to them. Amin Raw squad, to Sa Netter, House of Consciousness, and everyone that is continuing on to do what they're doing. If I can be the help to get everyone in a solution-based state of mind, especially focused on 3D printing, because man, time's running out. By 2030, everything's going to be 3D printing. So, you know, let's get on board. Let's unite. Most of us have different ideologies. I'm a non-believer, so I disagree with most of what everybody believes. But I'm for my people, and I support the Aboriginal movements, and I support my brothers on the continent too. You know, I'm not calling it Africa, but brothers and sisters on the continent, on the other continents, and the islands, we can all get a solution-based understanding. We can make a difference instead of complaining about the negative and the ills that are going on and having to work 40 plus hours a week and living check to check. Boy, oh boy, it's hell, you know. But let's put these solutions together. But right now we're gonna go on Jaguar Olmec and we're gonna start shutting it down. Let's start shutting down the misinformation. Let's start digging into the scholastic work. Let's really dig into it and put an end to a lot of the confusion going on in this community. Thank you, Brother Todd. Oh, yeah.